My name is Mike Tung. I am the other half of pinkcity.ca, and I'm also a naturopathic doctor based in Toronto. So, my version of the Pink City origin story is that I went to Queen's University for psychology. So I have a degree in psychology. I have a minor in philosophy, and the original plan was I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. And so after I graduated from Queen's, I studied. I studied and I did like the graduate record exams. I applied to a bunch of schools and stuff, and after not being, I made it to the last round of interviews for Ryerson, which is now Toronto Metropolitan University, and then I didn't get accepted because they didn't have a spot for me, and then I applied again the next year, and then I just didn't make it in, and so after not being accepted to grad school for clinical psychology, it was like the first time in my life that I wasn't working towards something. I just had like, the written path like had ended.
Okay.
And so it was around that time that we ordered something from a clothing company, and it came in and it was just like so bad. And we're basically just like saying like how bad it was, and yeah, we could do such a better job than this. And our dad was in the room and he was like, wanted to try. So you heard Chris's version of the story, but for me, I was like, yeah, like I'm actually not really like working on anything now. This is like the first time in my life that I actually have the freedom to do this, and so like, why don't we just give it a shot and see where it goes?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what initiated Pink City for us. Like me and my brother, we are very close. We have a lot of the same friend circles. We have a lot of the same interests and stuff. And so like growing up, like we always like wanted to start some kind of a business or something, but we didn't know what it was. We've always kind of like been a little bit more stylish. Like we used to have a lot of like crazy band tees and like different like kind of like fashion like that. And then just the idea of starting a clothing company was cool to us, and we both had time to do it. So we were just like, let's just give it a shot and see where it goes.
That's good.
And
fashion forward.
Yes.
Kinda like, yeah, we could be a little fancy. Let's do this.
And what's funny about this is that our parents are very traditional, and so for me, they didn't really understand like what psychology was, and they wanted a doctor in the family, and this was like my version of being like, okay, like I don't want to be like a normal doctor, so I'm going to go down psychology, which they didn't really understand. And then Chris is like, he's an arts guy. He does film. He does all this creative stuff that they also don't understand, but they do understand business. And so when we had this idea of doing a clothing company, our parents were like supportive of us like for the first time in our lives,
Okay.
and it was actually pretty fun and pretty cool to do that. And so the original intention with Pink City was that it was going to be a business experience for us. So for me, it was like kind of like a stepping stone into becoming some kind of a doctor later on in my life. And there's business involved in that, right? Like I want to own my own clinic one day. I want to have like, all these systems in place and just like know how to do like the business side of stuff. So that we kind of looked at it as like, this is our business education. And that's kind of how we like explained it to our parents, and they were supportive and all that kind of stuff. And so with that spirit in mind, we did learn a lot throughout the whole process. Yeah.
I'm curious about, why did you choose the particular path of medicine, as you kind of brought up.
Yes.
The particular path of medicine that you chose. Because you did you said, sorry, well, you went to school for the
psychology
first.
Actually, asking that question again, let me say one thing that Nick reminded me to say was like a tips, or what's your one tip to like start up
Oh yeah, that's
who want
what we
to start
talked
their own
about
companies.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the almost 10 years of Pink City being in business, I think the number one tip that I could give people who want to start up their own hustle of some sort is, I'm pretty sure there is a proper term for this, but basically it's like, don't over prepare so much. there is a point where you should just like start and like you don't need to prepare anymore. It's called something, but so we were fortunate, and actually I guess that's another thing that I'll talk about too. We were fortunate earlier on that we were accepted into 2 incubators. Do you know what an incubator is?
No, I'm not familiar.
So, okay. I'm assuming you're saying that because you know what an incubator is.
Only because of Silicon Valley, yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So an incubator is basically like some kind of a support system for new businesses to be able to start better. So like you get accepted into an incubator, and they'll either like they'll give you funding, they'll give you mentors, they'll give you resources, they'll give you education on like how to do what you want to do to like the best ability that they can help you. And so we were part of something called the Toronto Enterprise, I think it was called.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that was from the city of Toronto. And then we were also part of the Fashion Zone, which was something that Ryerson, now called Toronto Metropolitan University, had us in. And so when we were part of the Fashion Zone, we would literally see like all of these companies just like preparing for years. And it literally got to the point where there was this one company that was preparing something for so long that someone else just came out with the same thing, and then they just lost the whole opportunity because they were preparing to make it perfect, and then someone else created the same product that they did. It wasn't as good, but they at least launched it. So it's like, okay, well now they can't do anything because it already exists.
Now it feels like you're copying.
Right? And so so the number one tip is like, yes, you should prepare, but don't prepare too much and just launch, because most of the things that you're gonna learn you're gonna learn after you start. And so Chris alluded to us starting to think about Pink City in like January, February of 2014, and we launched in July. By the time July came up, so we actually set a deadline saying like, okay, no matter what happens, we just need to launch by July 14th. We liked July 14th because it was like 07/14/2014.
So the numbers basically.
The numbers, it was like, we like this number, it doesn't matter what stage we're at, we just need to launch. And so, for us, it was like, we needed the website to be done, we needed some products, we needed social media up.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's literally like all we had. Like, we had everything locked down. And even after we launched, we found different suppliers. We changed our social media handle. We changed our e-commerce platform. Like, we changed basically everything from after we launched. But like, we wouldn't have known that we needed to change those things until we launched.
So yeah,
right?
you did it. Makes sense.
Yeah. And
So
so
you're going to start to learn things as you like after you make that initial hop. You're going to learn those things.
Most things you can only learn after you start, right? And so just think about what are the essentials, and just launch, because you're just going to learn most of the stuff. I keep forgetting, so there's a camera here and there's a camera here. So just launch. If you have the bare minimum, just launch. Don't over prepare, or else someone else is going to do what you're doing. Yeah, I've seen it happen. I think that luck is actually something that you make yourself. So you make your own luck.
You make your own luck.
And what I mean by that is luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yes.
And so the only reason why Jessica Negri could have helped us was because we had all of our systems in place, ready to go. So when she posted about us, we were able to handle all the traffic that came to our stuff, right?
Yeah.
We've made the right connections. We already were connected with so many other people that she knew, so it just like made sense. As opposed to if we weren't prepared and she discovered us, she would have just kept scrolling and went to someone else.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. You know what? The other important thing I think about starting your own hustle is it's also not for everybody.
Yes.
I think that's one of the big things that sometimes just basically working a job or something like that. I think I'm a firm believer in one of two things: either you love the hell out of your job, every day feels like it's the first day and it's wonderful all around, or your job pays you enough to do the things that you like.
Yeah.
And if you can have those two, any one of those two, I think you're pretty, fortunate in many ways.
Yes, I totally agree. I guess what I'll say about that is, in starting Pink City, Chris and I both kept our day jobs. And so I think that's an important thing for people to know is you can either quit your day job and take the plunge, or you can keep your day job and do Pink City. And so, we put our own money into Pink City, and the only reason why it is here today is because of us just having that cushion. Like, we didn't have to worry so much about it, and it was kind of like a hobby, it was kind of like a passion project and stuff, and it turned into its own machine by now. But starting off, we didn't know how to get investors. We didn't know like any of this stuff. We just used our own money. Yeah. And then what you said about you either do what you love every day or you do something that like pays the bills pretty much.
Yeah.
To me, like that is kind of like what my situation was, because I had a day job that what I always say is like, if you get a job, it should be something that you at least don't mind doing and it pays the bills. And if it doesn't satisfy or fulfill you, then you can start a passion project or a side hustle or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And then at least you'll have both, right?
If your main thing sucks, do your side project.
Yeah. And then if your side project turns out to be something, then that's your main project, right?
Yeah.
But don't lose the the safety net that you had. I guess that's just from our experience. Although I do know lots of people who have been successful, just like taking the plunge, because then you can dedicate everything to it. And I guess Chris and I honestly are at the stage where Pink City is not our main focus anymore, because it kind of runs itself, because we have all of our systems set in place and stuff. Because I'm focusing on my doctor stuff, Chris is focusing on the TTRPG stuff, and just like that side of his interests.
At this point, while your outer health and your outer physicalness is on fire, skin's hot, that area is tender.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was time for this.
Now we'll test the mind.
Okay.
Mike.
In this situation, the mind is not as strong as the body.
You say that, no excuses, Mike. We're
Yeah.
gonna test your knowledge.
Let's
See
go.
if you're Pokemon trainer or Pokemon master.
Yeah.
So, I guess quickly, give us context of this tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
It's 9 tails, but there's something else to it. Can you touch on that?
Yes, so this tattoo is my old dog that passed away in the style of Asher's Ninetales. And so she was a Shetland sheepdog, which if anyone knows the show Lassie growing up, is kind of like a mini Lassie. So just like very strong fox vibes, very delicate, very graceful. And so you actually asked me before like what typing she would be, and I think she would be a fire normal type, because she would bark at nothing like all the time, and I'm pretty sure she was seeing ghosts. And so normal types are resistant against ghosts. So there you go, normal and fire.
Well, with
I
that,
can see that, yeah. The normal typing's always weirded the hell out of me, like I'm fire, but
Yes.
not fully fire.
Yes.
Just a little fire.
Yeah.
but it makes sense in this context.
In this context,
Yes.
it makes sense.
And for Pokemon at face value, we'll start with the first question. What Pokedex number is Ninetales?
Oh, jeez. There's no way I'll know this. I'm going to say it's between 20 and 40.
Okay, you are correct. I can give you a multiple choice option here.
Oh, hey. Wow, that's pretty good,
That's
actually.
pretty good, though.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
I don't know how
Because
to
it's a
do that.
fucking, like, I thought that was
Yeah.
going to be the hardest one out of this whole goddamn
Oh, wow.
question.
Okay.
I thought that was going to be the one where it's
Yeah.
like, Jesus.
No,
Yeah.
you're right in there. So I can make this multiple choice for you.
Yeah,
give
let's
you a bit
do
of
it.
assist. Okay,
Let's do it.
so your 4 options are 26, 29, 31, 38.
I'm going to say 38.
Ding, ding, ding!
Yeah.
That's the first
Yo.
one.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got it. Now you can't forget it because you actually managed to get it.
38.
On to question 2. Which version exclusive was Ninetales catchable in, red or blue?
Oh, man. I actually don't know this. I'm going to guess red just because it's fire type.
50-50, but you're
Yeah.
wrong, my man. Blue.
See,
It was
there's
blue,
no way.
Arcanine,
Yeah, it was a 50-50
Arcanine
the
was
whole
that
time.
one.
Arcanine was red.
Arcanine was red. Yeah.
Oh.
Because the two of them were interchangeable.
Yeah.
Those two of them.
Yeah. Damn.
Now we'll go into some general Pokemon trivia. This is all still based out of the OG Game Boy Color games.
Let's do it.
Name 3 of Giovanni's Pokemon. Gym Leader Giovanni, Name any 3 throughout the few times you face them.
Okay, I mean, definitely Persia. Or Persian? Persia?
That's 1.
Persian? Is it Persian or Persian?
Persian. Yeah.
Is it Genghis Khan?
He does have a Kangaskhan when you fight him in
Yes.
Celadon.
Okay.
You fight him in Celadon, Team Rocket's hideout.
Okay.
I only know his Elite Four. That's all I know.
Gym leader.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So you got 2.
Oh, boy. Oh! Nido King.
That's it.
Yo!
Iconic.
Okay.
Ding.
Wow.
We're going to pivot over to Ninetales again for this one. Bit of a trap card question. Is Ninetales one of Gym Leader Blaine's Pokemon? True or false?
I'm gonna say no.
Ding.
Yeah,
you
you
got it right.
Yeah.
That's a toughie.
That
That's
was the Magmar guy, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Magmar Arcanine.
Okay.
All right.
Wow. I'm so
Gonna get a little bit harder
shocked. I'm shocked by how well I'm doing right now.
Again, based out of red or blue or yellow.
Okay.
Name 4 of Champion Gary's Pokemon when you fight him as champion in the Elite Four.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I know Arcanine is one of them.
Correct.
Champion Gary. Oh, man. Arcanine. I'm trying to think if he would have had a balanced team or not. I don't know. Because one of his Pokemon was also dependent on what you chose, right?
Yep.
Can I say that as an answer?
I'll take that as an answer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You took Charmander, he took Bulbasaur.
Yeah. Okay.
He took Squirtle.
Okay.
He took Squirtle.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I actually don't really know the answer to this. For some reason, Lapras is coming up.
Close. He has that water typing coverage.
Yeah, okay.
It's not Lapras.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple of hints.
Oh, is it one of the Eevee evolutions?
I would have accepted that for yellow.
Oh,
he did in yellow,
really?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
In yellow,
'Cause
he
for,
took Eevee.
For some reason, Jolteon is coming up. For me.
Yeah. I would have taken
Okay.
that as one of the starter answers.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple hints. Think Route 1. What Pokemon do you find in Route 1?
I don't know. Caterpie? What? No.
Yeah,
Butterfree?
he's one of them, but not the one.
A
Yeah.
Venomoth? Like
Before, on your way to
Pidgeotto?
the final evolution.
Oh, Pidgeot. Sorry,
There,
Pidgeot.
I'll
Yeah.
give you that one too. We'll give you that,
That
one.
wasn't
too.
weird because he had him from the beginning and kept
Yeah,
him
yeah,
through the whole
wow.
game. Yeah.
Wow, he had a Pidgeot at the end.
Yeah.
That's
Right at the end, he had it. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, bonus points if you can still guess the other two. So one is the first ever designed Pokemon, and another one is the strongest psychic type that isn't legendary.
That isn't Mewtwo.
Strongest psychic type that isn't legendary? That's not Hypno, is it?
Nope.
Okay, so I got that.
All right, I'm being a little too nice. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds.
Okay, who's the strongest? It's not Mr. Mime, is it? Okay, I don't know that. And then this one, the original design Pokemon, I don't know who that is.
Actually, even I don't know.
I don't know. The Dragonite. Oh, come on, okay.
That's it. Alakazam and Rhydon.
Oh, Alakazam and
Rhydon's
That's
all over
right.
every the statues. And
Yes,
stuff,
he
right?
is.
Yep,
He is.
yep.
Oh, I'd never made that connection before.
Yeah.
Rhydon was the very first
wow.
designed Pokemon in Pokemon. So when people ask who's the
yeah.
first Pokemon, Mew, Arceus,
Mm.
Bulbasaur, or Rhydon, they're all correct technically,
Wow.
but Rhydon was the first designed by Mr. Taiji.
Arceus was also one of the first design.
Well, not designed, like God of Pokemon.
Yeah, God
so
Pokemon. Okay.
in the lore of it,
Okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean? Here's a little freebie one for you, just for you to have fun with. Your Pokemon trainer picks 6 Pokemon out of the entire Pokemon world to defend you against every other over 1,000
Okay.
Pokemon.
Okay. I you know
feel
when,
like that's
when you
overkill,
asked
right?
when you
Like, we got a lot to
asked
go.
Chris what his team would be, I knew you were gonna ask me a question like this, and I told myself I should think about the answer, and I didn't. So here I am.
Here you are.
Okay, definitely Gyarados, because Magikarp is actually my favorite Pokemon, and so for everyone there who thinks that's silly, it is silly. Magikarp is like my inner child, and pushing through adversity, being bullied in school, being doubted by my parents, all these things have turned me into a Gyarados now. So I can never forget the Magikarp roots.
Those hardcore.
But yeah, So okay, so Gyarados for sure. I'm also gonna say Swampert because Swampert. I'm sure you've seen the meme where it's like a really buff Swampert, and then it's like one leaf kills him because he's resistant to everything, but he's double weak to grass. So that's Gyarados, Swampert. Gyarados obviously gonna have dragon moves and crunch. So to cover for grass, I would probably I really like Charizard too. Charizard used to be my favorite Pokemon. So Charizard's gonna be in there. Let's see. Do I get legendaries?
Any Pokemon you want, any three. Or
Okay.
sorry, any six.
I think it's fair to give yourself a list. You're going to be facing
Just-
all of them.
just
You
one?
You'd at least need a couple, right?
Just have one or two.
Yeah.
One or two?
Yeah.
Okay, Lugia and Giratina.
Ooh, okay.
Then what am I missing? I probably need like a ground or something like that. Lucario.
That's a fun one. Lucario's
Yeah.
a fun one.
Lucario's sick because it gets Shadow Ball.
Get Shadow Ball, and you have the option of
Or
Mega. You've got a
Spear.
couple Mega options in your six there.
Yeah. Yeah, Mega. So I never like played any games or watched a show when Megas happened. Only Pokemon Go. So I don't really understand Megas that well. So I never really think about that when in my considerations. But that is a cool reminder that you can turn into Mega. Yeah. I mean, I can get Mega Mega Lucario. I can get Mega Charizard. Mega Gyarados. Yes. Beautiful. I don't know. I'm actually gonna check like a PvP.
The great thing about
checker.
Pokemon is you can get a critical hit and your whole team.
Yeah, true,
So
true.
You can plan till the cows come home. It doesn't matter.
I think you have a good shot, but there's a couple legendaries in there that might
You got
give
some
you a
like
hard time.
small gun guys being like, no, I could build a team to beat you.
Yeah,
I would be like
no,
Rattata.
100%.
Rattata
I'm
with a
actually
focus
gonna
sash.
check right now. Okay, coverage I got a C, bulk I got an A, safety I got a C, consistency I got a B.
It's not
It's
bad.
okay.
It's not too bad. You'd
Not
still
bad.
probably be dead, but you know.
I would be dead. I would be dead. Yeah, I mean, just not
I mean,
having
you did
good
say
coverage.
the whole Pokedex, right? So
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Like we
Yeah.
didn't go with just Gen 1. We went with the whole
Exactly.
goddamn.
Yeah, I don't even know all the Pokemon. Like,
Oh, of course.
yeah.
Neither do I, dude.
Yeah.
One of them's a cheese string. That much I know.
Goldango.
I can't believe that was their 1,000th Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which one was the 1,000th Pokemon?
That one, the
Goldango.
cheese
The cheese-
string.
oh.
Cheese string, yeah.
Come on.
That's
So
funny.
just to put a bow on the party of six, I'm gonna assume that Gyarados is your ace, or is it a different Pokemon in that six that's your ace Pokemon?
I'm gonna say Gyarados only because it would have been a Magikarp from birth, right? So it would have been the Pokemon that I had throughout
That's kind of your
taking
starter.
up my sixth spot, giving some splashes, getting
Nice.
some experience.
Nice.
Yeah,
the slow
definitely.
grind up. I
Yeah,
love that. I love
definitely.
that.
You and your brother are both like kind of foodies, right? You got
Yeah,
like,
we are,
places
yeah.
in the. If I was like, okay, we're gonna nuke every single restaurant in all of Toronto, but this one, which one are you gonna leave behind?
It has to be Copacabana.
Copacabana. Okay, I
It
know.
has to
Copacabana.
be Copacabana.
Attaboy.
Because my favorite thing to eat in the world is grilled pineapple from Copacabana specifically, because they do it differently in different places.
How did they do it?
So they put the pineapples on like a rotisserie kind of thing,
A spit.
and a spit, and they put like a sugar cinnamon kind of like seasoning on it, and so it caramelizes
Holy shit.
really nicely.
That does sound fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's so good that I just got a tattoo of it on me yesterday.
And this is the thing about tattoos. It doesn't matter. Anybody who tells you, oh, you really want to live with that for the rest of your life? First, mind your damn business.
Yeah.
Second, yes, whatever is important to the person is important to you.
Yes.
That's it. That's all that
Yes.
matters. You get whatever the hell you want.
You know, I hope that I find something that I love more than the grilled pineapple from Copacabana. I don't know if it's gonna happen though.
Maybe it doesn't, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to yuck your yum.
Yes. Yes. I like that saying actually.
Here's one off from behind the cam. What'll it take to get a shirt of Munchlax eating grilled pineapple?
Oh, that is a good one.
Wow.
Collab.
That's
Could
a good.
you-
That's a good. That's a good.
That's
That's a
a
good
collab.
collab.
There we go.
That's a
Let's
good
do a
collab.
collab.
Could you
Perfect.
combine something like that, bringing in your own personal favorite stuff from the real world, with
Yeah.
like where do you pull inspiration from when you're designing some of your merch?
So this is actually funny because this is kind of a conversation that you were having with Chris about how like there's not so much time to like watch things, so you kind of have to be picky with how you spend your time with like investing in shows and stuff like that. So Chris is the more like film media. He kind of keeps up with the pop culture stuff. I struggle to, so I always prioritize stuff that's kind of like more popular that like more people know. And so, sorry, what was the question again?
Where do you
picture your
draw
subject?
inspiration from when you're creating?
Oh
some of your
yeah,
shirts?
yeah. So I guess it's just from whatever I'm consuming and just trying to find clever connections between stuff that I know. But what's actually interesting is like so this shirt, for example, was a collab with Jay Wan. And so it's basically like, the legendary birds from Pokemon and the God cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they both kind of like are similar colors, similar vibe. The problem with that in designing a shirt is that you really have to be a fan of both of these things. So if you're not, then it's less likely that it would make sense for you to get that.
Yeah, but I mean, some of that is kind of like niche too and fun,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it is. It is. So like people who like it love it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, just trying to combine things in fun and unique ways. So let me think here actually. So talking about like design process a bit. So obviously like Chris is the more like artistic one, but like I will have like ideas. And so a perfect example of this is we are famous for our like coin jacket, so it's called the Player One jacket. And so originally it was like kind of like the pixelated coins on the inside, and the outside I believe the original design was like a tape deck or like something like that. And then I looked at it and I was like, that actually doesn't make sense. Like, it should be something like insert coin. And so what the final design ended up being was like a video game controller, and it says insert coin with coins on the inside. And so like that's kind of like my creative input in our design process is like I can't draw, I can't like picture things, but I do have like I could look at things a little bit differently and make kind of like suggestions here and there.
So which one did as we mentioned with I think Chris touched on Jessica Negri and
Holly Wolf
Holly Wolf
and Meg Turney.
Meg Turney.
Yes.
What did each one of them kind of? Well, I know that you said Holly Wolf did a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But the other two.
Yeah. So
what was it that you
so
chose?
from my recollection, this is gonna be like 2016, something like that. And so what happened was our very first convention that we vended at was Atomic Lollipop. And what's actually hilarious is that same weekend, it was also Warped Tour. So our first convention, we actually vended in 2 spots at the same time. We had 2 separate teams, and I don't know, I mean, it worked out, but it was crazy that we were so ambitious as our first one. But anyways, at Atomic Lollipop, Holly Wolf came to our booth, and we didn't know who she was because we were just kind of like just getting into the community at that point. And so like her friend, shout out to Nate, was like, yo, you guys, like, I guess you guys don't know who she is. Like, you guys should be giving her stuff because she's like this person. And he showed us on his phone, and we're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, like, hey, like anything you want and stuff. But Holly Wolf bought everything. She didn't even want it for free. Like, she actually bought everything, and she supported us because she liked our stuff.
That's really good.
And so, literally, like, she bought everything, and like not even half an hour later, she posted a picture wearing like a beanie and all this stuff. And then right away, we just started getting traffic that way. And so that was amazing. We always like we always say like Holly Wolf is kind of like our guardian angel. Like she's always kind of like looked out for us and kind of showed us the ropes and everything. But so Holly Wolf started wearing our stuff, and then somewhere along the way, Meg Turney discovered us, whether it was through Holly or through someone else. Then she was wearing our stuff. I think it was at PAX or some other convention. Then Jessica Negri saw her wearing it, and then that's how she discovered us.
Awesome.
So it was just a nice chain of events. When we become successful, our friends become successful. When our friends become successful, we become successful. And it's all connected.
Yep.
It's all connected. And so, the mentality with like not asking for free stuff, but like wanting to pay, or like wanting to like support like your friends and stuff. That's why we have our markets. That's why we like love to do collaborations and stuff, because like we want to just like everyone needs to know all the cool stuff that we're doing because it's cool for everyone. Yeah.
I mean, it's part of that community that we're talking about, right? The community kind of helps support it, helps to kind of build it.
Yep.
You know, sure, you can do it on the corpses of everybody underneath you, but
100%.
what the fuck is wrong? Like, why do that?
Yeah. That's so lonely too. Yeah.
It's real lonely.
Yeah.
It's real lonely.
At least you'll never be alone now. Tell us your dog's name.
Her name is Janie.
Janie.
Yeah, sweet baby Janie.
At least Janie's with you forever now.
Ah,
Sure, taking it
love
with
it.
ya.
So cute.